Good evening and welcome to the Smart Entrepreneurship Decoded on Transcontinental Times. Over the last 20 odd weeks, we have met a variety of people from various aspects of the startup ecosystem. We have met investors mostly, lawyers, people who run accelerators, people who are contributing from various angles. We have heard their thoughts, their experiences, and their advice as well. Tonight, I have a very special guest. He needs no introduction and is probably more used to taking interviews than getting interviewed himself. I have often spoken about midlife entrepreneurship because I wrote about it extensively in my book on midlife crisis, and I strongly advise people not to take it up unless they are ready for it. But research shows 54% of the midlife entrepreneurs are successful compared to the 10% odd who starts right after college. Why is that? Is it because they're experienced? Is it because they got the right guidance and mentoring? Is it because they have the connections? Is it because people are willing to back them with money? Or they have their own savings? It's very difficult to make out because in the shallow world of social media, where people are trying to see how many characters to read rather than read and build character, it becomes difficult to figure out what's happening. Nobody reads anymore. Everybody is confident. Everybody's life is great on the social media, but everybody seems unhappy and everybody seems to be seeking mentors. And often you see more bloggers and mentors than actual entrepreneurs. But I don't have to struggle with all this tonight because tonight we have a genuine pioneer. Beyond all the hyperbole, beyond all the ludicrous stuff you see on social media, somebody who's actually done the hard yards. Somebody who in 2001 was talking about building communities, was talking about B2B business in media space, which was unheard of. But he surprised us all, especially me, when he went and bought a physical business magazine. Join me in welcoming Dr. Anurag Batra, who's the chairman and editor-in-chief of Business World magazine. Welcome, Anurag.
Thank you so much, Nalin. I agree with most part of you, but I just want to ask the viewers, who has more hair, me or Nalin?
We are able to hear you clearly.
We'll ask you the question at the end of the day. I just asked who has more hair, Nalin or me. But we'll revisit it at the end. But let me say, I don't agree with one thing you said. People read a lot. I am in Goa. I'm doing this from I came to speak on well-being. We have a community on well-being called BW Well-being World. And I came to speak on the importance of sleep, which is so underrated in everyday life. We look at walking, diet, nutrition, emotions, but we never look at sleep. So I can tell you that people read. I'm carrying 12 books. I'm carrying 14, 15 magazines. More and more books are being published. More and more books are being written. And while all of us are screenagers, we may not be teenagers anymore, but we do everything on the screen. In spite of that, I don't think the printed word is going anywhere. In fact, it will get even more premium. It will get more and more important because I have this story that anything that is in scarcity has its own value. And I keep saying that the digital experience is a lean forward. I'm talking to you, I'm leaning forward. Whereas reading a magazine, a book, is a lean back experience. And there is a space for both lean in and lean back, lean forward and lean back experiences. And I did not buy a magazine, Nalin. Of course, when I bought it, it was just a magazine, but it's a huge brand. I'm not in the business of magazines, websites, events, tomorrow television. I'm in the business of brand and content, like Transcontinental Times. Is it a magazine? Is it a website? It is a video-led blog. It is all of it. We're about the brand and content. So just wanted to add that.
No, that's a very interesting perspective, especially the lean forward and lean back. I never thought of it that way. But you make a good point, right? When radio came, they said newspapers will become obsolete. When TV came, they said radio will become obsolete. When internet came, they said everything else will become obsolete. They're all still there.
Absolutely.
They're all still there. Everybody has carved a niche for themselves and evolved. But talk me through, when the whole world was not yet thinking B2B and not yet thinking marketplaces, you were doing marketplaces. When the whole world is talking about digitizing, digitizing, you 20 years later, you buy a physical brand. What did that thinking evolve?
I'll tell you, first of all, Nalin, I started to build Exchange for Media, not to build a media company. I wanted to build an e-commerce platform like Commerce One, Ariba, to build a marketplace in the media. And we tried to attempt that for the first 3.5 years. We started in 2000, we are in 2021. We were possibly ahead of time, right? The industry was not ready. And as you know, a marketplace democratizes access for smaller and medium players, and the bigger players don't like it. We were also young, so it did not happen. We were ahead of time. But on a logical plane, if I think about it, if I had to attempt the marketplace today, it is a perfect time. We all know the value of B2B e-commerce, business to business e-commerce, where content is the glue to build the community. But eventually, you create a marketplace there. So the time is right now. We are also known. Exchange for Media is today a very venerable brand in the media advertising marketing space. We know everybody in the community. We've been there for 21 years, and we've added value to our community. So if we attempted a marketplace, I think now is the time. But we failed. One, if we attempted it today, because we already have the community of the media advertising marketing communication ecosystem, we would approach it from the transaction side. Can we bring down the cost of transactions? So we have to be a content tech play. We have to be a media plus model. We are not just a traditional media model, which is advertising. Of course, we get advertising. Event sponsorship, of course, we get award entries. So, we're doing all that. And really, we are the industry standard in our industry as far as Exchange for Media is concerned. So clearly, if we were to attempt a B2B e-commerce platform today, we would do it from transaction side, we will do it from fulfillment side, and we will also do market making there, right? And today we have credibility. Today also the market is more open to newer players, open to B2B e-commerce, open to technology. Now, when I acquired Business World, I was acquiring a brand. I acquired it 8 years, it would be 8 years on 26th October, though I signed the contract on 19th September 2013. And from October, November, December 2013, the payroll was mine. And from 1st Jan 2014, I actually acquired a brand. And I want to build marketplaces today. You take hospitality. bwhotelier.com is the number one hospitality editorial product. In the last 6, we launched it on 12th. On we can build a marketplace there. We can acquire a technology company which does ERPs for hospitality, and we can become a complete marketplace there, theoretically. And that's the directions. We have a well-being site which is growing. Now, tomorrow we can become a well-being marketplace, and that's what I'm going to do with all my products, a year from now. So I am in a content tech place where I'm building communities where commerce will happen. I'm not just building content company. I didn't want to say it, but I'm saying it. But it may take me 12 to 18 months to get there. But I'm on that road, and I'm fully confident of being able to build marketplaces that will not only build brands, bring the visibility, build editorial evangelism, but actually create business. And those two businesses will be dealt. There may be some commonalities, but they'll be dealt as two separate businesses which draw on each other, because they're both very different kind of businesses, but both will draw strengths from each other. So there is no dichotomy there. And again, I believe in serendipity. I believe whatever needs to happen when it happens. I've been trying to do this for 8 years. Maybe the time will come in the next few months, but I've continued to build content. And ideally, I want to build a very big digital play, which already is moderate size, but I want to be number one. There are other players, 5 other players bigger digitally in the business side than me, than Business World. Of course, Exchange for Me as a numero by far. While there may be other couple of sites, there's no match on what we do. I mean, I say it with all humility. They're not. We are editorially, aspirationally there. We are honest. We are more.
So let's,
So that's the plan. I just wanted to let you know.
That's a really a wonderful plan that you're executing. But both of us have probably watched how entrepreneurship has become a socially acceptable thing and almost a must-do and fad from the time when probably we were younger, when our parents generally pushed us into fixed careers of medicine, engineering, etc.
traditional careers, I would say.
Traditional careers. Nothing good or bad about it. But when you watch entrepreneurs today, and I know you mentor a lot of them, you talk of reverse mentoring, how you learn from them. When you hear entrepreneurs today, what are the things that strike you as a couple of things they are doing much better than we did, and a couple of things they really need to get grounded on?
First of all, let me say to you, Mr. Nalin Singh, comparison is the thief of happiness. One should never compare. First, how one should learn. And I believe in reverse mentoring because we can learn. I can learn from you. You can learn from me. We can learn from younger people. There are some things we can tell younger people. But when it comes to digital, technology, risk-taking, I think the younger people are better than us.
Okay.
Second is today, I started 21 years back. The ecosystem of entrepreneurship is developed. There are big successes. You look at the Zomato listing this year, you look at Byju's, and I can give you down the line. There is a Sanjeev Bikhchandani, and there are many other people, So clearly, there are lots of role models that people can look up to. There are lots of successes. There are lots of failures, many more failures. But the fact is, the nature of entrepreneurship is such that we understand that while I say there is nothing called failure, Randy Pausch said experience is what you get when you don't get what you want. Everything is an experience. An entrepreneur never fails. It's the project, the idea fails. He'll, with the same learnings, do a new project, new idea. So I think today there's the support system, and I broadly say four: the policy that the government is doing, the capital that is available, the mentorship that is available, and the routes to exit that are available. Whether it's merger and acquisition, whether it's a listing, these four factors are so robust in India that we are becoming really a startup nation like never before, right? Again, our Prime Minister in 2015, in December, said that, Startup India, and a lot of people mocked him saying, oh, another event, another slogan. But the fact is, when the Prime Minister of the country, Mr. Modi, gets up and says that it's okay to fail, it's changing the wiring in lots of people. It's changing the wiring in parents. It's changing the wiring of the society. So the impact of which we have seen in the last 6 years, right? And we will see ahead. So for the first time, it's okay to be an entrepreneur. And,
I agree. I agree.
Again,
there's a tremendous, there's an
ecosystem, and there are role models, and there is any drivers.
There's a tremendous positive movement in this space going on. I would argue you are one of the role models yourself. But let's shift track a little bit. There's a lot of focus paid on, and sometimes glorified, about Indian jugaad. What is your view?
How much money you raised?
And what should how should entrepreneurs view it? Is it a real route? Is it something that people should think about seriously?
See, first of all, let me say entrepreneurship is hard. I failed at a couple of things. Okay, I started a media school. Of course, our partner died, so we closed. Otherwise, it would be India's largest media school, most respected. Again, I don't believe in things, it would have been. The fact it is that we had to shut it after 5 years. Because we didn't have holding capacity, right?
Yeah.
A lot of our students are doing very well in the industry. 200 students passed. Rubika Liaquat, who's the primetime anchor on ABP, is from my media school. Our media school, me, Sajalda, and the late Mr. Atul Maheshwari, we started a media school. Now, fact is, I recommend this book to everyone. Its title is provocative, but what's in it is even more. It's a book called Hard Things About Hard Things. It's a book on entrepreneurship. Ben Horowitz wrote it. Entrepreneurship is not easy. We should not glamorize entrepreneurship. We don't see the sacrifices people make. We don't see the preparation they do. I mean, I work 14, 15 hours a day. When my first child, who's a daughter, was born, I didn't spend enough time because I was building exchange for media. Luckily, with my second child, which is a boy, I could spend some time. And then I acquired Business World. Last 8 years, I've been working. And again, it wasn't easy to get it to where it is today. And I saw lots of challenges. So first of all, entrepreneurship is not easy. Let's not glamorize it. And life is a trade-off. Well, a lot of my friends party, take holidays. I really don't need a need for a holiday because I feel my work. If you love what you do, I love what you do, what I do. So, in entrepreneurship, you should choose something that you naturally enjoy doing. Because if you enjoy doing, whether it becomes moderately successful, very successful, very valuable, is a reward. I know entrepreneurs look at valuations, money, all that, because we compare. And I said comparison is not good. And after COVID, we clearly know 5 things. One, less is more. कि
True.
कम से हो सकता है. It's not about resources. Second, never say never. ऐसा नहीं होता. Zoom call पे तो कुछ हमें तो जाके मिलना ही पड़ेगा नलिन जी को और उनके साथ. We know that. Third is why is very important. Why not is also very important. Why do you do something? Why do you spend time on anything? What is the value for you? Feeling good is a value. A new market is a
So,
value. Money is a.
yeah.
Fourth, I just want to say, is everything needs to be a 3C economy, a collaborative, compassionate, contactless. And fourth, very important is that we have to be more worried about the planet, sustainability than ever. So if you can align your journey of entrepreneurship with these thoughts, I think you'll be successful. So I don't think I can give I use entrepreneur. I don't use the word anymore. I use the word serendipitous because serendipitous is a more positive word. So I think I would say if you want to be an entrepreneur, the single biggest quality is the ability to deal with uncertainty, with complexity. I know the last 18 months of COVID have been truly VUCA. An entrepreneur's life is a VUCA life. If you as
So,
an individual can deal with uncertainty, you can be an entrepreneur.
true. So, I have read about you yourself being an accidental entrepreneur, somebody backing you with money very early in life, all that. When you meet entrepreneurs who are seeking funding, and people generally make up their mind in the first few minutes whether they want to meet the person again or not. What is it that attracts you to meet the person again? What do you look for? What turns you on
I look
towards that person?
for helium. See, I made angel investments. Some of them are doing very well. First is the cultural fit. I keep saying chemistry comes before economy. My father is a professor of chemistry. He's 82. I mean, he was a pro when he was. So chemistry is very important. I walked away from deals which were very lucrative. I was committed where I got dissonance on the chemistry. I walked on 8th March from a deal in the media tech space and I'm very happy about it. Plus, I pegged. So, first is humility. Second is the clarity of thought why I'm doing what I'm doing. Third is frugality. In an early stage, I know frugality is not the more important thing in the economy where it lost. But these companies are in a different scale talking. Fourth is I like people who value me more than my money. Because I can open my Rolodex is such, I can pick up the phone, I can do things. For example, if customers are important in B2B, I can get you customer. Customer money is more valuable than funded money. So anybody I can help build a brand, then better than. I can
So,
open doors for funding and for customers like no one. So anyone who values me, of course, if money has to be put in, so I want discounts. So I value people who are frugal, who have clarity, where my chemistry is right. And of course, the business plan has to make sense. But in a lot of cases, the business plan is very lucrative. But you're
you're
not
right.
sure. You don't want to be with a person who will not value you after it's big. It's his company or her company, but at the same time, you're adding value. So when it becomes big, you don't want to be in a place where, and I must tell you, in two angel startups, where I'm an angel investor, there my relationship with the founders is better than when it started. They will jump if I tell them to. So I met one of them 7 times, once with his father, who was a shareholder in the company. They're in Hyderabad. They flew down to my home 7 times before I said yes.
Sometimes, I find this craze for valuation before they create value to be absolutely misplaced. You make very important points, that an investor brings in more than just the money. They bring in their network, they bring in their goodwill, they bring in a lot of knowledge for you to scale. So in companies that you invest, do you participate hands-on, at least at the planning stage, or?
I have not invested in too many companies. 4 in total in these years. 4. That's not a lot. It may become a lot as my as my businesses go to another level, I will have the time and the money to be able to make investments. So I haven't done too many, but I've looked at many, and I have lots of friends who take my advice for this, that. So I think what is very important is, I think there is another book I read about Uber scaling, Reid Hoffman. Okay. So capital allows you to scale up very fast. Now, when Zomato listed, a lot of people said, oh, yes, clearly it has value, but look at the valuation. But look at when Amazon listed 20 years back, a lot of people said, oh, Amazon is overvalued. Look at where is Amazon. We really don't know the future. Then investors are not necessarily fools. There is a scarcity premium, there is a trend premium, there is a future premium. So valuations are very important. I agree that in a lot of cases, before the value, the founders have started to look at valuation. But I don't think that is avoidable. You're a founder of a business. I'm sure you look at your valuation. I look at my valuation. It is important because it is a validation of what your value is. And value is what you can get from the market. So who are you and me to comment? The market has given a value. It can be a little more, little less. But there is some method to the madness. That's what I believe. So whatever we may criticize and also media has glorified, oh, he raises $800 million, $200 million, $300 million. We don't talk about the revenues. We don't talk about the profitability. That's not the headline that we give.
Not only that, we don't even talk about actually how much money came out of that.
Possibly in some cases. Yeah, possibly in some cases, you're right. So clearly I think we have to create value, and valuation is a byproduct. That's how I look at it. And again, you have to create something differentiated. You have to create something unique. You have to be a leader. I mean, Zomato is a category leader. It will get premiums. Now, you and me can argue about whether the valuation. The fact is the market values it. We'll see in 1 year what they do. And I'm sure they have a path to profitability, which you and me may not know.
So, Anurag, you are, in touch with, and you deal with and know deeply a lot of CEOs, entrepreneurs, successful people, etc. Are there a couple of traits or habits that you see that these people have that makes them excel?
Clearly, first of all, I may sound old-fashioned. Hard work. At the same time, it's a trade-off. It's the hard work. Second is passion. They're not in it just for money. They believe in an idea. An idea is like a child who's growing up. They want to nurture the child while he or she is growing up. Third is clearly they're solving problems. They want to make an impact. Fourth, some of them, for them, their work is not their work. It is their life. It is their mission. It is who they are. And then as they go along, as they start making impact, they discover more value in what they are doing. They stay on it. But the biggest is hard work. Second is passion. Third is asking yourself the right questions and evolving every now and then. Because as entrepreneurs or as a product or as a company, you need to keep evolving every now and then. And you have to we're all emotional about our businesses or our idea. But at some stage, even if you're emotional, you have to take the idea and improve what you have. Use criticism to improve. And it's okay. Last but not the least, which is very important, is, they're very collaborative. I've seen whether it's raising capital, whether it's partnering with customers. Collaborative people become successful entrepreneurs. They're very collaborative, both internally and externally.
Interesting. So, the space you are in, I know you do a lot of other kinds of work as well. Media is getting increasingly cluttered. And there is popular perception that quality is going down, right or wrong, whatever. It's a perception. Where do you see this happening? Will there be a shakeout? Will there be a consolidation?
It's a very wide word. It's a very broad word. There is news media, there is non-news media, there is B2C media, there is B2B media, there is lifestyle media. So I think when people talk of when they talk of that, they talk primarily of news media, news television. That's a different discussion, and I agree that all the kind of content we see on news media, it can be better. I'm being very polite. right? They're my friends, and I understand their challenges also. Having said that, a lot of news media also do very, very honest journalism. The few. Uh, Second is, I think the definition of media is influencers are media today. They're also media, right? They're creating content.
True.
Individuals are media. So I think you have a media platform. So I think there is many players who got into media. See, for me, I spent all my time in business world. 99%, 1% in E4M, right? This mentoring was on auto. My co-founder Naval runs it, right? What I'm trying to tell you is that the reason why you're in, for me, it is what I do for a living. It is not a sideshow. It is not a way to get to something else and run a power business or a solar business or a mining business, whatever, or a real estate business. So at the end of the day, if you don't do great and differentiated content, viewers will go to what does. I have a huge brand in business world. I'm doing what I can do, but can we move to an economy in the media space, content where consumers pay for content? And that's where we will have to raise the quality of content we do. Because they will pay when the content quality is such that it makes a difference to their life daily. Second, it is also presented in a way that makes it engaging. Now that all that takes money in both editorial people, in production, and in marketing. I think also the social media is a great tool to be able to amplify. Also, there are many distribution mechanisms available, and social media is a distribution mechanism. It's not content by itself. So I think we have to segment, sub-segment, and look at the challenges and opportunities of every media segment and sub-segment. And some are same, some are, every segment has a little different structural issue. So in news media, I agree. But I think in some of the B2C media, they're doing excellent content. They're creating visual content. The primary distribution medium is social media. But I'm blessed by having two huge brands. Exchange for Media is the number one brand in the advertising marketing media. And irrespective of many players coming in, they're all marginal at best. Business world, of course, I don't benchmark it against magazine. I benchmark it in dailies, in the television space, in the digital space, in the newspaper space. And I want to be India's number one business media company in every, whether it takes me 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years, God knows. I'm not an astrologer, not a futurist. And I keep saying we don't even know what we know. And we don't even know what we don't know. So I don't know what the future is. But I'm having fun building something.
Do you follow astrology?
Nothing is easy in life.
I see the double N in your name.
And I'm sure our best time is ahead of us.
Do you follow astrologers? Because I see the double N in your name.
Probably I lost your voice. I lost your voice. Nalin, I'm not being able to hear you.
You said that you are not an astrologer.
No voice is coming. I cannot hear you.
Okay. I can hear you clearly. I can hear you clearly. There must be some setting issue on your side.
Nalin, I'm not being able to hear you.
Okay. Maybe if you log back in.
This is technology. It works beautifully for most part. But the reason sometimes there is a disruption is I get a call because I'm doing it to my phone because, yes, on my iPad, the connectivity wasn't best. So it could be my end. It could be your end. I have no clue.
Okay. So I think we were nearly done with our questions with Dr. Anurag Batra.
I'm not able to hear you.
So we will close this interview tonight. It was an absolute pleasure.
Maybe you can put the question in the chat and I can answer.
Yeah. So let's try that. Maybe I'll put it in the chat and ask you. So basically what I want to know.
I don't hear what you're saying, but I must say I wish Transcontinental Times and your endeavor to bring all the stakeholders together. And if there's anything we can do together at Exchange for Media or Business World, I'd welcome that. With the kind of background you have, Nalin, and your partners have, we'd be happy to explore anything which can be symbiotic and collaborative.
Okay. So I have put a question in chat. If you can see it, you could possibly respond to that.
I can't hear you. It could be my end. I have no clue.
Okay.
And no my problem. Apologies. I'm doing this from Goa, from my hotel room, as you can.
No problem. So we'll wrap up. It was a bit of an unfortunate end because Dr. Batra had network issues, but he made some really, really insightful points. real practical insights, things that are based on hard work, based on various other pillars that you need to get right before you enter entrepreneurship, especially about how hard it is. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. We'll be back next week with another guest, and I hope you found this interesting. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave your feedback, which will help us improve and bring content that is more suited to you. Thank you and good night.